American Airlines Flight 77 was the hijacked plane that crashed into the Pentagon just outside Washington, D.C. It killed nearly 60 people on board, along with more than 120 military and civilian personnel inside the building. Hendrik Sybrandy has the story of one survivor.
But I was actually back at my desk, at my cubicle, when the plane hit.
Phil Beaver remembers that September morning vividly. It was around 9:45.
The plane came into our office, swept through diagonally. I was in the corner where it didn't go.
Lieutenant Colonel Beaver, an Army operations research analyst, was at his desk in the C ring of the Pentagon when the fuselage of American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into his second-floor office.
I thought it was a bomb.
A fireball erupted on the floor below him, killing many people instantly. His wedge of the Pentagon had just been renovated with reinforced concrete.
I would conjecture that without the steel in our wedge, that plane would have gone a lot further. They put $1,100 Mylar coating on every window. And so the window that blew in at my desk, the glass didn't shatter, I didn't get a scratch.
Having watched news coverage of the World Trade Center, Beaver and his colleagues knew this was a terrorist attack. He'd run into work just an hour or so earlier.
Sergeant Major Strickland walked by and said, Colonel, probably about time to get out of your running clothes and put your uniform on. It was the last conversation I ever had with Sergeant Major Strickland.
He helped people evacuate the building, then was ordered to leave himself.
The Pentagon security kept pushing us farther and farther, so we were all in the center courtyard, and they said, no, go, get out.
Beaver believes he was the only person to actually get a call out of the Pentagon on that chaotic day, to his wife, to tell her he was okay.
I think a lot of us still know where we were during September 11th. That was my first year of college.
April Alexander, who now teaches psychology at the University of Denver, says 9/11 inflicted a collective trauma on the country, but also produced a sense of resilience and common purpose.
You still hear the stories of people who entered the military because of that day, people who entered into nursing because of that day. So that was a collective experience that so many of us felt that has ripple effects into kind of our current psyche.
My ears were ringing, certainly, for the next week or two. Every time my girls slammed a door for the next 6 months, I would jump.
In Beaver's office alone,
there were 28 people killed. I went to 28 funerals.
He moved back into the Pentagon 6 months after 9/11 and ended up extending his military career 4 years longer than planned.
It was a real wake-up call. It was a real wake-up call to know that there are people who want us dead, all of us. It gave us a new purpose. The things that I was working on in the Pentagon to support the effort in Afghanistan and again in Iraq suddenly became really important.
A business professor now, Phil Beaver is struck by the fact that kids born today are farther away from 9/11 than he was from World War II.
The difference is, when World War II ended, it ended. 9/11 was just the beginning. There is no closure on this yet.
It's an event that lives with him 20 years later, a surreal experience, he calls it.
I got very lucky. It was quite a blessing.
Hendrik Sybrandy, CGTN, Denver.